Hello, my name is Kennedy Noyes, and this is my presentation on technology and professionalism in social work. To start out with, technology plays a critical role in communication, documentation, and service delivery, especially when it comes to therapy. Social workers need to uphold ethical standards across all digital environments, and the NSAW Code of Ethics gives guidance on social media, confidentiality, and electronic communication. When it comes to technology mistakes, there's many different kinds of mistakes that people may make. It also depends on what platform they are using. So this is some examples for social media, which could be blurring professional boundaries, which could be adding a client on Facebook or following a client on Instagram. That can kind of mesh the professional boundaries or rapport that you have with your client. And it's important to maintain those boundaries. Oversharing your personal views on social media, especially if your social media is not private. People sometimes search their providers before meeting them, and if your social media is not private, they might see posts that you've shared that go against their own views, and then they might not think that you're a good fit, so they may try to find somebody different. And then just posting client-related content, so never post anything about your client or any situations that they're going through on any of your social media. The next type of technology mistakes that social workers have the potential or have made is through texting. You always want to make sure that you're using unsecured texting, or I apologize. Something that you want to make sure that you don't do is using unsecured texting platforms. Not setting boundaries and working outside of work hours. So, for example, telling your clients that they can text you on your personal phone at any time, that can cause burnout, and just not having those boundaries makes you as a social worker triple, quadruple your work, and it's important to also take care of yourself and give yourself that time off when needed, or you could potentially not be the best social worker for your clients, and you always want to be at your best. And then using casual language that could potentially be misinterpreted. So this just means saying something and through texting, and your client might take it as something completely opposite of what you meant to say. The next technology mistakes that I'll be explaining have to do with AI. Things that you don't want to do is copying AI generated text into your case notes, entering identifiable client information into different AI tools. This could potentially leak their information onto the internet, which is not okay. And then relying on AI for professional judgment. So if you were to use AI to help a client figure out a problem or give them advice, it's not a reliable source. So you're technically giving your client unprofessional or just not true information. I'll now be discussing the ethical use of technology and using a HIPAA example. So the example would be: a social worker emails a client's discharge summary using a personal Hotmail account. The risks of this would be exposing their protected health information, also known as PHI, It also violates HIPAA requirements for encrypted and secure communication. So you always just want to make sure that if you were to email a client, that it comes from your work email. And then also just making sure that if you are emailing a client, that you have their exact email written down. Because even if you mess up one letter or number, or something like that, then you're potentially sending out a client's information to somebody else. This is a confidentiality and technology example. So the example is: a social worker conducts a telehealth session from home without verifying their privacy. This could mean that their family is nearby. The risk of that is that the clients may be heard by the family members, which overall violates their confidentiality. So you just always want to ensure a private, sound, secure location whenever you're doing telehealth appointments or any type of digital or technological appointments. This is professionalism and technology use, an example. So a social worker uses informal language and emojis in emails to clients. The risk of this is this may appear unprofessional and hurt the therapeutic relationship between the client and the social worker. You always just want to make sure that you're maintaining proper formatting and using a professional tone whenever you are communicating across technology with your client. So some of the best practices for ethical digital conduct would be following the policies for technology use, especially whatever organization you work for. You just want to make sure that you're also following their policies as well. Always maintaining boundaries. Verifying security settings on all of your digital platforms. As far as like documenting on technology, you just want to make sure that you're using technology-based communication in your case notes, other than things like AI. And then you always want to make sure that you review the NSAW Code of Ethics to get updates on digital communication, because they have and could potentially change more in the future. In conclusion, technology aids practice but can also come with ethical risks if not used properly and professionally. Social workers must use all digital tools responsibly, professionally, and in alignment with ethical standards. And then always continuing your education on up-to-date technology standards helps maintain a safe and ethical practice. And these are my references, and thank you for watching.